Hello, everybody. This is Diem, and for context for this story, probably about 3 or 4 years pre middle school, there was a fight where my mom let me know that she never really wanted kids. She didn't really, wish she wished she hadn't had me. Um, I wasn't the favorite child, and a bunch of other stuff, and she didn't care if I died. Um, and there would that's a different story for another time. But for context, so to make some of this, what I'm about to talk about, a little bit, make a little bit more sense. Um, she had a tendency to either leave me places. Some people would say that she was just abandoning me places, or getting frustrated and just being like, "Okay, I'm out." And I remember the first time this probably happened, kind of because of how clueless I was. I barely could talk, so I was probably like 4 or 5, somewhere around there. She left me at a park, and I kind of just copied and pasted a random image because, like, pretend this is like where the actual park was, and then up here would be like the parking lot. She kind of just left. And you don't really know time at that age very well. You just kind of measure it by like it getting dark. And it was not during winter or anything. It was probably like the in between summer and fall. Like it wasn't cold, but it wasn't hot. And I was probably left there for like 3 to 6 hours. The thing about abandoning a kid is that it's pretty hard to do in some ways. Um, and the reason why is because unless somebody like kidnaps said kid that's been left in said location, usually a good Samaritan will like bring you to the cops, and the cops will figure out where you live, or like if you have a family, like other family members, they'll be like, "Where's so and so?" And you can't be just like, "Oh, I left him in this place," because it's not completely acceptable. But this would happen frequently because, yeah, she just didn't care many of the time. Like, um, I've been left, I think, at zoos, at parks in different states. I got brought back a lot by the cops. Like they had phone number. I gave them like a phone number, and they'd call, and it'd be like the same. Oh, he wandered off or something. Or it'd be like, And you don't want to get beat, so it's like you don't say anything. You're like, no, you kind of just left, like, or but you don't want to get beat at home. Then the cops are not really going to believe you. So, but yeah, zoos, parks in other states because we were visiting family. Threatened to be left alongside the road when people were arguing in the back seat. Even if you weren't, I wasn't involved in the argument. I was kind of like the guinea pig of being like tossed on the side of the road, sort of thing. Um, and yeah, it was interesting. I think I developed a survivalist um, skill set because of it. I never really thought about it, but I have a tendency to be willing to go up and talk to people pretty much in any sphere or any environment. And I think that that's probably directly reflective of being left so many different places and being brought back by the cops, or having to talk to cops or various people. And you just kind of learn to make friends and be a little bit outgoing. Because if you wanted to basically be able to get home, you didn't really. It was necessary to kind of venture out and make connections, and people, find the good Samaritan that would help you get back home. Really. So yeah, it was very interesting. As I got older, it became you can't really just abandon a kid places after a certain age, because they kind of wise up to what's going on. Um, So it kind of later would elevate with to being left places you could walk home from, and you would or being I guess when I was in like seventh grade, myself and the siblings had to like walk home in a blizzard, and like, just for like interrupting her twice. So that there was plenty of stuff that it like changed the direction of abandonment because you couldn't do that anymore, or like you could find the cops, or you could tell somebody, or and you just couldn't get away with that anymore. But at a very young age, she would just kind of leave me places, and I can think of a bunch of different places, and it was like, or and various hours, or after dark, it'd be like 4 in the morning or something, and she'd come back to pick you up first, because somebody like says, "Where's so and so?" And I don't know how she got away with it in so many cases, but it was definitely interesting. Um, we would later go to like Germany, and I'd have to be extra careful to not get lost or wander too far away. I had to be really like cautious to not get abandoned in like another country, because that was just like, I don't speak the language, and I just don't know anything. So that was like really, I got lost once and I freaked out. And I paid a lot of attention at a young age because I was totally like, if I get abandoned here, she could just like leave, and I'm just like done so. So, uh, yeah, it definitely. I think you learn some things when you get left places or just sort of abandoned. Um, and I don't really view it as that horrible, honestly. I kind of take it in stride, and I think I grew from it. I don't. It wasn't painful physically, like maybe unless you were hungry. Um, and after being abandoned at a young age in random places, you kind of got used to it. Like it wasn't like other abuse, right? Like getting yelled at, meant emotionally could hurt. Getting hit physically hurt. Getting left places just kind of left you lost, right? There wasn't this like um there's fear initially, but like fear's not that bad. Like unless there's fear of getting like kidnapped or hit and stuff like that, the fear is a lot less, in my opinion. Especially if you've been said place before. Even if you don't know how to get home, like there's less fear about it. So I kind of don't see it as all too bad. It was very interesting, looking back, and um, yeah, I don't know. It was so interesting. I was fascinated that she could like leave me places so often and just get away with it. I don't know how, and I guess I didn't know any better, to be like reporting her. It's just when this is your norm, and that's with a lot of things. Like when being hit, being abused, being yelled at, when that's your norm, you don't really think to speak out. Um, so yeah. So thanks everybody for listening, and have a great